There's gonna be Mega Man and Minecraft movies, which is fucked up as it is, but the most concerning thing for me is that they're both in the live-action segment. Ladies and gentlemen, a live-action Minecraft movie is being produced. Please evacuate to the nearest fallout shelter immediately. We have failed as a species. Hell yeah! Add it to the list, fellas! And then, of course, as always, Kirby does his little dance. Wait, you're kidding me. He doesn't. A Kirby game where he doesn't. You know, he always it's Kirby. He always dances at the end of the. Okay, all right. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he only does it after the boss fights. Let's just move on for now. Can't dwell too much on it. And that's Dawn of the Dead, a video game about a mall. But I feel like I haven't really expressed to you how I truly feel about this game. So, Bugsnax is kind of a weird game, honestly. It's made by the Octodad people, and you play as a private investigator looking for a scientist who has gone missing on a remote island away from civilization. That's the plot of Bugsnax? Honestly, guys, like, the bar was so low. All you had to do was make a video game that controls better than this. Than fucking this. But you know what? I don't want to make it seem like Kona was a totally negative experience. At the very least, it taught me one very important lesson. Don't go to Quebec. They got Wendigos, and nobody speaks English there. 2022 was actually a pretty good year. I saw some friends I haven't seen in years, went to the French part of Canada, climbed a mountain, and learned that Calgary is actually a real place, and not just some psyop made by people on the internet to sell Trudeau bumper stickers. The reason Mangle is mangled, is because kids would take him apart all the time, necessitating the staff to reassemble him. But eventually they just got tired of putting him back together, so they just left him and let the kids take him apart as an attraction. You know, I was gonna make a joke about how stupid that is, but that sounds pretty fun. I would do that. If killing hordes of zombies with katanas, chainsaws, shopping carts, really anything you can think of that could possibly be a weapon, sounds fun to you, please play Dead Rising. This game fucking rules. And if that doesn't sound fun to you, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Just coming in for a friendly reminder that 2013 was 9 years ago. Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars gets 7 stars out of 7. So as I'm sure you can tell, I love Dead Rising, but there are 2 things that I genuinely dislike about it, and both things revolve around Otis. Good job, buddy. You know what, I'm just gonna say it. Why'd you have to make the black guy the most annoying character, huh? Could've just as easily been Jesse. Could've just as easily been Jesse. But no, we can't have color and light and be able to see things. This is the 21st century. Horror has to be dark and at nighttime. Nothing scary ever happens in the daytime. But anyway, the actual game starts and we get another cutscene showing Yoshi discussing with his buddies. Yoshi, 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 and Yoshi. And just like that, folks, it's time for Unsolicited Canada Facts Volume 1. Hi. If you're not from Canada, you're probably wondering what the hell this thing is. It's all over the branding for the 2010 Winter Olympics, and if you've ever been to Canada, you've probably seen one on a hiking trail or in a gift shop or something. This, my friends, is called an inukshuk. It was used by the indigenous people of Canada, who were mostly nomadic and hunter-gatherers, to indicate that they had already been somewhere, or to say, good fishing here, am I right, fellas? Unless you're from another tribe, in which case, you better keep your hands off my fish. You see, the indigenous people of Canada, they were always on the move, out hunting or fishing or something. So if they had already been somewhere or they wanted to mark something, they would put one of these guys up. They just stack a bunch of rocks and bada bing bada boom. Don't need to go back to there. We already been there. This giant one in Whistler, though, wasn't put here by the indigenous people. Most inukshuks were like 3 feet tall and they were just stacks of rocks, so, you know, they would fall over in a strong enough wind. Obviously, none of them have maintained their position over the years. If you've been to Canada and you've seen one on like a hiking trail or something, it was probably just put there by white people. But there you go. It's a fun little cultural thing that people outside of Canada and Alaska might not know about. There are 3 other animatronics aside from Freddy, and Scott Cawthon will forever be on my shit list for the terrible, terrible names that he gave these characters. I refuse to believe that Scott genuinely decided to keep the names because they, quote, grew on him and stuck. Like, you just couldn't think of any better names, bro. Just stop lying. It's sad. The game just kind of throws you in, and I mean, it teaches you the mechanics and stuff, but I still found myself like, what do I do? Where do I go? Am I supposed to be taking pictures of stuff? I don't know how to read an analog clock. This is too many zombies, man. I'm just gonna come out and say it. At this point, I would like to issue a disclaimer. The next part of the video is gonna get really scary, because we're gonna be talking about tank controls. So maybe if you're a little baby who can't handle that, maybe you should go off and watch something a little bit easier to understand. Now, those of you who are familiar with the lore of the games will probably know that 1987 is important to the story because of an event called the Bite of 87. Does this sound familiar to you? I'm gonna be honest with you, when I first heard that Elden Ring was gonna be open world Dark Souls, I was kinda like, why does every game have to be open world? But horror isn't just about being scared. If that was the case, then every horror movie would just be Saw or Paranormal Activity or Final Destination or whatever. And that's obviously not the case. You got rubber. Unfortunately, before Frank gets the chance to help block the doors, this old lady lets all the zombies into the maw in an attempt to save her poodle who's stuck between the doors. So that's why stores never want you bringing your dog inside. It's in case of zombies. Yeah, let's give Sonic a little bit of a break. He can only pick so many low-hanging fruit. I'm just gonna go ahead and rewrap this. Security Breach is one of those games that will frustrate you to the point of fantasizing about strangling a stranger on the bus. You guys can relate to that, right? That's not something it's not exclusive to me, right? The first game we got is sword play. But before I go, I want to put a nice little cherry on top of this, you know? Which is kind of like a double entendre, because ice cream is cold, and this game takes place in the winter. You know, sometimes I lack confidence in my ability to nail it, but this is not one of those times. Who doesn't love a good mystery? Now, I know what you're thinking. Ben, you literally just said 2 seconds ago that you hate mysteries. First off, very observant of you. And second, I was lying. I lie to people all the time because it's fun. Final Fantasy VII is, in my opinion, the best game in the series. Oh, Ben, you better be careful. Better be careful with those piping hot takes. You might burn yourself, you fucking moron. Well, what do you say that we set the old idea machine to spooky and see what it has for us? God, this thing was such a stupid waste of money. Next up, you got Get in Shape. I thought this game was about expanding my brain, not hurting my feelings. Nothing quite like the feeling of watching your mom open up a gift to find exactly what she asked for.
Oh, special K.
Like, imagine you had two cool older cousins who are physical manifestations of snowboarding and skiing. Sure, skiing cousin would be cool to hang out with and is really accomplished in school and you look up to them and stuff. But snowboarding, he'll buy you beer when you're 16 and you can't get it yourself. So get ready, dear viewer, because I'm about to do the thing that I always do on Idiot Ben. Sit on the fence. Do you want to learn comedy from the funniest man alive, Idiot Ben? Well, today's your lucky day. Introducing Idiot Ben's Ultimate Guide to Comedy. This 26-part video series can be all yours for the low price of $34.99 per episode. Alone in the Dark was developed by French development studio Info Grames. Right off the bat, we got two big holy smokes here. First off, yes, French people are capable of doing all kinds of things other than smoking cigarettes and making house music. Shame on you for thinking otherwise. And secondly, you heard me right, the studio that made this game is called Infogrames. Not Info Games, not Infro Games, Infogrames. So I guess Alone in the Dark is the first video game ever made. Can you believe that Infogrames doesn't exist anymore? The
Front de Libération du Québec.
And the Koopa shells. You know, I didn't expect it to be a Koopa shell, but I really wasn't expecting that. It's a good game. It's not just that, you know. I mean, that doesn't hurt. If you pay attention closely while playing, you may pick up on the fact that Frank is a photojournalist, either through the camera that he carries everywhere with him, or the fact that he never shuts the fuck up about being a photojournalist. Photographers, am I right? Unless you're watching this and you're a photographer, in which case, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about... It's every other photographer that's annoying. Now you might be saying, Ben, surely you've seen E.T., right? Yeah. I'm a huge Spielberg guy, obviously. I've seen The Goonies more times than I care to mention. Next up is Boneyard. Boneyard! Well, that's a whole lot about Kirby Crystal 4. The 60 shards. You might wonder why your office is so much more dangerous this time around, and I don't know. The phone guy doesn't even seem to know.
Something else worth mentioning is kind of the quartz modern design of the building. You may have noticed there are no doors for you to close.
Yeah, okay, modern. Is that your professional architectural opinion? Shut the fuck up. Edward jumps on top of an elevator and finds his buddy, Theophile Paddington. That's his real name. I'm not kidding. Look, I don't like to be the guy to make immature jokes here, but E.T., he's got a penis. E.T.'s got a penis. Like, why? You could have just not put that one pixel there. Somebody must have, like, I know this was the early 80s, but as far as I know, penises still existed back then. We then meet this guy, Carlito, who doesn't eat nearly as many apples as I would expect from a guy named Carlito. There's Filbo, Wiggle, Wambus, the farmer and his wife, Trifony Lotabug. You've got Chandlo and his boyfriend Snorpy, who invented the launch pad used in Bugsnax Episode 3, Beffica Strikes Back. Anyone who gets what I was referencing there is my eternal homie for life. And that's all the Robot Masters, but don't go anywhere. The game's not over yet. You think Dr. Wily would have Mega Man defeat all of his Robot Masters and just have nothing else up his sleeve? You must be some kind of moron or something. Mom must have raised you to be some kind of stupid asshole or something. Shredder's Revenge has its fair share of issues, sure. No games are perfect. Okay, most games aren't perfect. Side note, this is a little warning. This is a fun episode, okay? So if I see anybody in that comments section engaging in some sort of political fight, I'm gonna come in there and I'm gonna hit you with my ring hand, which is both of my hands. Alright folks, get ready because it's time for Unsolicited Canada Facts Volume 2. Hi again. There's a common misconception that the national sport of Canada is not hockey, but in fact lacrosse. I'm sure that if you live in Canada, at some point, the most annoying person that you know has told you that after reading it on a listicle during their lunch break. In reality, Canada has two national sports. Hockey is the winter sport, lacrosse is the summer sport. So there you go. Stop saying that hockey isn't the national sport of Canada. You're being a dickhead about a technicality. Shut the fuck up. I gotta be honest with you, I'm in a terrific mood right now. I mean, just look at my smile. Five Nights at Freddy's... 7. But one criticism that really stuck with Scott Cawthon was the seemingly unanimous stance that the in-game models were creepy and resembled animatronics. Yeah, so the only issue with the atmosphere of this game is that you have this extremely annoying narrator talking through the whole fucking game. Anytime Carl does anything, this guy feels the need to make a comment, and some of the shit this guy says is just unbelievably stupid.
Not a single weapon was left. All of them were gone.
None of them were there! Don't be mistaken, controlling Alone in the Dark isn't far off from attempting to paddle a canoe with your hands while an angry mother bear quickly advances toward you. I'm sure you're all familiar with that expression. So let's get right into it, huh? Oh, that's all, huh? Easy peasy. Elevation pictures, more like elevate me into my grave. That didn't make any sense. Well, I guess you gotta lift the coffin to get it into the hole. It works pretty much exactly how you'd expect Wii Sports basketball to work. You can dribble, pass the ball, fall on your face trying to steal the ball, miss three-pointers. It's like I'm back in elementary school. The post office is called Waddle Dee Liveries. Like, come on, man! So let's go, fellas. It's time that we address the elephant in the room. Or should I say, the birdo in the room. This one takes place in the far-off, distant future. 2023. I don't really mind being uncool anymore, you know? Like, when kids use slang terms and I don't understand them, it's like a learning experience, you know? I'm not bothered at all by the fact that there are fully grown, functioning adults who are younger than the Game Boy Advance SP. Psychopaths are the other main type of mission in Dead Rising, which is just their boss fights. Psychopath is the word that Dead Rising uses to describe bosses for whatever reason. So instead of missions, side missions, experience points, and bosses, we got cases, scoops, prestige points, and psychopaths. What the hell are you guys doing out here? Just talk normal. As usual, Cloud is the absolute most irresistible man to ever exist. Despite him being a cold, socially inept, emotional shut-in, my man just can't keep the ladies off him. Seriously, upon him entering their vision, every girl in this game is rendered incapable of rational thought.
Oh my god.
What do video game genres and human beings have in common? That's right, they both have grandfathers. Unlike all the other games we've looked at, Ultimate Custom Night doesn't really contribute much to the overarching story of the series, or at least I don't think it does. For fuck's sake. In case you were wondering why I decided to grow my hair out, it was actually so that I could headbang to the Super Mario RPG soundtrack. When you're trying your best to get through a horde of zombies and that motherfucking walkie-talkie rings for like the 4th time in a row, it makes you just want to throw your goddamn controller out the fucking window, Otis. I'm a little busy at the moment, buddy! For whatever reason, the animatronics are designed so that if they see an animatronic endoskeleton without a costume, they will grab it and stuff it into one of the costumes. The issue is that they also perceive humans to be bare endoskeletons. Wait a minute, humans? Well, that's me! Power cruising is similar to wakeboarding, except you need a nunchuck and a boat operator's license to play it. Thankfully, I have both. Overall, if you're looking for something exactly like the original trilogy, this might not be it, but if you're a Bandicoot fan, or dare I say, a Fandicoot. Basically what I'm trying to say is, Yoshi's Island is a masterpiece. If you like 2D platformers, go play it right now, or so help me God, I'll come to your house, and I'll unravel all your toilet paper off the roll, and then put it back so that it's all fucked up. See, I love this game so much that's as aggressive as I can be with my threats. Kirby Star Allies came out and the general response was, if this pink son of a bitch doesn't do something interesting soon, I'm gonna lose my mind. The next game in our suffering marathon is 2017's Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator. Let's hop right in. So here we have the Sony PlayStation Classic. USB AC adapter not included, it's a Christmas miracle. Also, for the first time in Idiot Ben history, I will be joined by my lovely wife and avid Nancy Drew gamer, Parrish. So I hope you like Split Screen. So with that said, wakeboarding is easily the worst game we've looked at so far. Wakeboarding, more like can't stay awake boarding. That's kind of harsh. It is pretty fun, it's just not as good as the other ones. Hey folks, welcome back. I've got one hell of an announcement to make. From now on, all episodes of Idiot Ben will be available in stereoscopic 3D. So for the full experience, put on your 3D glasses now. Ooh, it's like I'm really there! But all that said, it's a spooky game with a cool idea. And then all hell broke loose. You see, I have a very obscure and debilitating mental illness called attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It makes me not able to read books because video games is more fun. Another example is in level 5, there's this little carpet here, and rather than just zooming through it, the edge of the carpet has a bump that you have to jump over. This means that every time I try to go through here, this happens. Okay, well that was a bad example. Like, as the game is currently, there are two types of stages. Foot levels. Get it? Foot. Because of the Ninja Turtles. That's what the bad guys are called. Now, you might look at all these different animatronics that all work differently and think that this game would be fucking impossible. But that's not really the case. It's rather simple, actually. All you gotta do is check the cameras, keep track of where the toy animatronics are, wind the music box, make sure the balloon boy doesn't get into your office because he'll disable your lights and he won't leave. If you've got animatronics in your office, you gotta put on the mask and hope they go away, except of course for Foxy, the mask doesn't work on him, so you gotta flash your light at him. And you gotta be quick with the mask, especially with the old animatronics, because they just warp into your office with no warning and kill you if you so much as hesitated to put on the mask within 1 or 2 seconds. Yeah, so this game is, what words did you use? Fucking impossible? Yeah. Celeste tells the story of Madeline, a young woman who has dedicated to climb Mount Celeste, an actual mountain located on Vancouver Island in British Columbia, Canada. Fuck yeah! Arthur, add it to the list!
I wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take you for a ride.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest scene in the history of cinema. That said, I'm not huge on Chica's new design. I certainly hope no one was asking for the homicidal chicken animatronic to be, sexier. Like, I mean, what better word is there to describe this? Alright, folks, moment of truth. Let's see that dance, K-Man. Also, just a warning, this video is going to contain spoilers for Silent Hill 1, 2, and 3, and also to a lesser extent Jacob's Ladder. So if you don't want any of that spoiled, there's the door. Arthur, where's the door? There's the door. It's unprofessional. From what I can tell, a lot of people seem to have a lot of trouble with Airman. In fact, he's the only robot master that has a page in the game manual about how to defeat him. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't really get it. He shoots like a barrage of little tornadoes that block projectiles and are pretty hard to avoid, but if you can get up close to him, you can just fucking annihilate him with your Mega Buster, so I don't know. Guess I'm just way too fucking baller at video games, bro. You start up the first night and are greeted by an all-new character, Phone Dude. Not Phone Guy, Phone Dude.
Hey, glad you came back for another night. I promise it'll be a lot more interesting this time.
Wow. The Phone Dude sure sounds a lot like the Phone Guy, doesn't he? Anyone else notice that? For those of you who are unaware, ET is short for Entertainment Tonight, a news program where nepotism baby Ben Mulrooney and Carlos from the Zone stand there with a straight face and tell me information about celebrities that's none of my business. Wait, I can feel it in the air. Christmas is once again upon us, which means everybody can put their differences away to celebrate the birth of some guy who really just didn't need to die in the way he did, you know? Like, I think we can all agree that was a bit over the top. Five Nights at Freddy's 4 takes place
I beat Ben in a video game.
And of course, who could forget the double chainsaw-wielding clown boss whose name is Adam. Adam the Clown. Wow, Sonic Boom in its original packaging. So yeah, the total animatronic count, excluding the Easter egg characters, is 10. 10 animatronics. Man, I didn't realize that this game was called Five Nights at Freddy's Too Many Cooks. Please welcome my good friend, J.O.K. So Jay, you're Italian, right?
No, I'm not.
Oh, for the love... This happens every time! Now, some of you are probably thinking, Ben, what's the name of your hypothetical zombie game that you came up with as a kid? I'm glad you asked, dear viewer. The answer to your question is Zombie Smackdown, which is a hilarious name. I'd still think that, so I will not be accepting any criticism of that. Freddy 1 had 4 animatronics to worry about, and Freddy 2 saw you attempting to survive against half of the 2015 Memphis Grizzlies. See, I could have used any sports team there, but I chose the Memphis Grizzlies because their mascot is a bear, and Freddy is also a bear. See? Where else are you going to get sports humor and Five Nights at Freddy's analysis all in one place? Right? Nowhere. That's why you come to me. If I had to sum up my opinion on this game in 2 words, it would be cowabunga, dudes. Yeah, not really my best. Like, to be honest, I didn't really plan a whole lot for this. I don't know. Sometimes I don't really think too much about the end.